Anytime you want.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay? I can turn that up a little bit too. Thank you very much for coming out this evening. Just a couple announcements before we get started. This webinar is being recorded and will be available on the York County History Center YouTube channel. A couple programs coming up. Our Genealogy Society meeting is this Sunday at 2:30, and our speaker is Scott Mingus, speaking on his Civil War book, If We Are Striking for Pennsylvania, Volume 2, I believe. Our second Saturday speaker, October 14th, is Charles Stanbaugh, speaking about Hanover's Forest Park. On October 15th is our 49th annual Oyster Festival at the Agricultural and Industrial Museum. If you haven't been, please join us. It's very, very popular, and there's a lot of great food and music and entertainment. And more different food, not just seafood. And then on October 25th, our next Allvets program, our speaker is Chu Lei, who is sitting in the back with us tonight, and he was a helicopter pilot in Vietnam. So please come see that. And for more info on our programs and to register, please visit yorkhistorycenter.org. Thank you. Oh, and now I'd like to welcome Rich Slack, who will be speaking about his experiences in Vietnam.
And before and then after. Thank you. Like being a celebrity here. I want to thank the museum for inviting me here to talk to you guys and my experience. I also want to welcome all the vets. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I know we didn't have very many happy times coming back, but hey, we get over it, we move on. What I'm going to do is sometime before I got in service, during service, and after service to benefit the military. I was born up in Newburgh, New York, 1945, long time ago. My parents moved to Cornwall, New York, and they weren't really having a lot of money. So at 16, grade 10, I had to quit school to help my parents out. Well, a couple of years later, I get my draft card. And they say, come on down to Whitehall Street. We want to check you out. So Whitehall Street, here I come. I go out to Goshen, the bus will take you down there. Great. I go down to Whitehall Street and do this, that, and the other thing. They do a complete physical. Went home, and about a month or so later, guess what? You're going down to Fort Dix, New Jersey, for basic training. Now this is December 26th, I believe it was. Taking basic training in the middle of winter is not cool. Rolling around underneath barbed wire, and they were real bullets going over our head while we were crawling on the ground. Grenade, learning how to throw a grenade, so on and so forth. Then they were looking for truck drivers. Well, that sounds fun. Never drove a standard transmission in my life. So I go down, took the test. Grinding gears like you wouldn't believe. I said, there's no way they're going to pass me. 3 o'clock in the morning, the next morning, waking me up, go down to motor pool, pick the truck up. They're crazy. Okay, I did. Military, you do what you got to do. So I picked the truck up, halfway down the road, and it conked out. I don't understand why, so I walked back to motor pool, told them, don't work. Come to find out it's a manual choke. I don't know nothing about that. You got to push it in. Okay. But anyway, they gave me a truck that was already warmed up. Take the guys down to the shooting range, and so on and so forth. So went through basic training, this and that. And I figured, well, guess what? I'm going to be going to Nam, and I'm probably going to be in the infantry. Nope. surprised the heck out of me. They gave me missile school. Now, mind you, I got a 10th grade education, didn't even get to high school. And I didn't think I was into missiles. But anyway, they sent me to Redstone Arsenal, Alabama. Lovely place, a lot of red clay. But it was still what I had to do. So I went down there and I learned hydraulics for the missile launcher. That was my prime MOS. It's a 2249, I believe it was. 22K49. No, 22H49. Have to remember back. Yes. Anyway, I went through that school. It was kind of boring in a way, but they gave me time to come home after missile school. And I got orders to go to Vietnam. Fort Dix again. Down there I go to Fort Dix. They prepare you to go over to McGuire. They take us over to McGuire Airfield. We fly from McGuire Airfield into Canada up to Alaska, Alaska to Japan, Japan into Saigon. So I got into Saigon, got off the plane, said, don't let any of the Vietnamese take your luggage, this. Okay. That was fine. Then they take us to what they call an orientation. I think it was a week I had to go to orientation. We were in tents. Some wise guy decided to put me in between two tents. On monsoon season, not a good place to be. We were still on wooden cots at that time, and soaking wet. You go into your cot, it was just full of water. It was just a joke. You know, a newbie there, they all do that, I think. And I got to get into the water, pardon me. Better. Okay. So got there, they were looking for somebody to learn the 5-ton record, because our launcher, when you're working on it, you had to take the top off of it. They had nobody at that point. So I volunteered to do that. Another thing, don't volunteer. Not a good thing, no. So they wake me up one morning, there's a 3/4 ton broke down on Highway 1. Anybody know Highway 1? Not a popular place to be. So I'm going down, and I think it was about 2, 3 in the morning, something like that, I don't know. I had to get a shotgun to come with me. We're going down, we got about halfway down the Highway 1, suddenly tracers are coming in front of us. I only have my peepers on. Everybody know what peepers are? On your truck, there's a very small lights that are on the front of the truck. They aren't headlights, they're just marker lights. Anyway, that's how you had to drive down Highway 1 to find this broke down truck. Not a good thing. I never towed anything in my life. But I was able to get them hooked up. Started back. Came into the Benoit up to our unit. And in Vietnam, as you go into all the villages, there's signs of the name of the village. Well, I had the moon a little bit too high. Right through the sign. The guys are still in the 3/4 ton in the back. Down it comes on top of it. Not good. Need to say, you never called me again. Come tow anybody. Don't understand it. I guess that was a good thing. But anyway, I was with what they call a direct support unit. In the military, there's echelons of work. Some people can do this, some people can do that, some people can do this. My echelon was the highest. They couldn't fix it on site. We had to go out and fix it to bring the site back up again. We had missile bases in Benoit and Saigon, outside the air bases. So off we go, many a night down, get the site back up, or day. Kind of boring, really boring. Only because we didn't really get that many calls. We were direct support. The people there took care of mostly everything. If we couldn't fix it, it came back stateside. And that's basically what I do. I would go down, take platters with me in the missile, replace the platter, get them back up again, or hydraulics. And the antidote to that is, when I got over, I'm a hydraulics technician. They sent me over a stack of books. Says you're now 22K20. I don't know what the 22K20. You now work on missiles too. Okay. Sounds fun. All I had to really do is check the platters out. We had a van, you hook them all up, check it all out. Back then, they were all tubes, mini tubes. There was no electronic transistors and all that stuff. And my voice is going again. I don't want you to miss a second of this.
Rich, how old are you at this point?
Pardon?
How old are you at this point?
19. Anyway, I kind of went over some stuff that I missed. And that would be when I got to Nam, you go into this orientation, like I said. A unit comes to pick you up after the orientation. I had to wait a week to get to my first job was to take 26 women to the sand pit because I had a driver's license. Duh. And let them fill sandbags. I did that for a week. Boring. And I don't, you ever been to Nam, which all of us have, hot. Sitting around, standing outside, like watching them all fill sandbag, throw them on the truck. And then at lunchtime, you drive them back, they go back out again. Well, anyway, we did that for a period of time. That's when I finally got to go and do stuff out in the field. Being direct support unit, we didn't have a lot to do. So I volunteered for an ammunition run. Take 105s up to Coochie and take it in. Another mistake. Don't volunteer. And they all told me that. I don't listen very well. We went up to Coochie the first time. I had a full load of 105s on. We had what they call long bed deuce and a half. It was a little bit longer than the average deuce and a half that you know. By the time we were through, the truck had bent like this, kind of overloaded. Incredible. Anyway, I did that because it was kind of boring, you know, just sitting around waiting for a call to come in to go do something. So we did that. What else? There was something else I did. I got a little book here. Yeah, we're running, yep, did that. First night on the ammunition run, we got hit with mortars. Just drove in. I have a full truckload of 105s. They hit us with mortars up a Coochie. Got out of our truck, went into this ditch. Right straight across the street is a fuel truck. Not a cool place to be with a fuel truck there and mortars coming in. Not a cool truck to be about 105 with mortars coming in. So we kind of moved out of there. But anyway, I did that for about a month. And I got an accommodation for a year. And if anybody wants, after all this is done, you're welcome to come up and look at them. Got through NOM 66, June 66, June 67. Then I got orders to come back stateside and teach in Richfield Arson. I taught there for 2 years. It was a good tour. Wake up, go to school, 30-year program for the day. I had Marines and Army in there. And, I was teaching that. Actually, I was teaching the hydraulics and stuff too. So I did that to 69, and that's when I ETS out. Like a fool, I should have never done it. I had it so easy. I had orders for Germany when I was ETSing 1 week before I was supposed to ETS. They give me orders to go to Germany. I went to my first sergeant and told him, I got through NOM. Sure enough, that plane's gonna crash or something on the way over. Do something. So he went up and they got my orders squashed. So that following week, I would ETS. But the military had taught me something. Like I said in the beginning, I was an 18-year-old, didn't know nothing, working in the factory, going nowhere. They taught me electronics. I got into computers. Then I hooked up with this company down in Long Island. And I worked there as a mechanic for a period of time. And they opened a new building, high-tech building. They were looking for people to go down and learn it. Like, I'm military, count on me. So down I go. And they said, watch them build it, which they did. It's an automatic picking system. A couple of guys here have seen the video, but it does everything automatically. All the girls do is keep slots filled. That's it. Everything else is done by computer. I did the computer. I needed 10 mechanics for 3 shifts down on Long Island. I trained 10 mechanics, enough to get the place running. And then it's more or less a learn as you go after that. The computers I handled myself. But all the mechanicals and things of that nature, it was electrical, hydraulic, or pneumatics, and computer. I taught my head mechanic the computer aspects of it. And that was there, I could take a vacation. Then they opened a place at Herrick, or what was the name of it? Well, one was in Vegas, and one was I forget the name of it already. It's open here. Anyway, another place in Pennsylvania here. I had to train them to do the same thing I trained all the other mechanics. Then they opened a place over in Las Vegas. Well, actually Reno, my mistake, Reno. I designed the one out there. Conveyors, computers, I did all the training. If it wasn't for the military, I don't think I would have left Cornwall and still be living and working in a factory. So that's why I really am happy that that happened. And I kind of came up short. But anybody got any questions?
You said earlier, I didn't want to interrupt you. Earlier, you said you were going up Highway 1 and you saw tracers.
Yeah.
Were they red or green?
Red.
Our side.
They were supposed to be green.
Well, if you're on their side, they were sometimes green.
Now, they were red ones that I saw. Might have been red in my eyes, but kind of late, early in the morning. I don't function very well. I'm pretty sure they were red. Again, you're talking a lot of years ago. Anybody got any other questions? I'm open for them. I got you.
Rich, if you want to just tell what's happened in the last year or so as a result of NOM,
Do I?
do you want to share what's happened in the last year or so in your life as a result of NOM?
Yeah, I can do that. I was diagnosed with colon cancer. There is no fix to it. I have a permanent cancer. It was in my lungs, kidney, bone, and colon. And I've been fighting it since. Everything's getting better now. They say that the bone cancer is gone. They said that the colon cancer is gone. I still have lung cancer. And I still have the kidney cancer. At which every 3 weeks I go in for chemo. Then I'm on chemo for pills for another 2 weeks after that. But I have a church, a lot of my friends, they're all getting me through it. They're all there to support me. Danny comes down with the milkshakes, and Jim there is calling me all the time. Ken back there, he calls me all the time. So I have a great backup. Very, very important for anybody that's going through this. Now, I did write a book about it.
So were you diagnosed with, from Agent Orange? Was this?
I did, yes.
As a result of Agent Orange?
Yes, I do. I've lost everything up here. That was back in '92. It came out. I had a tumor out of the side of my neck, about that big. I couldn't even turn my neck. But I never attributed it to Agent Orange at the time. And I said, you want to know something? I have great insurance. I don't want to take it away from the vets who really, really need it. And that's what I did. My insurance covered it. What they didn't cover, I covered. But I just went over about a week ago, I think it was, to apply for it. And we'll see what happens.
So you never got any kind of compensation from
No.
the VA?
Don't.
That tells you about his character.
Yeah.
He truly did that as a result of wanting other guys to go first.
There's and we see it all the time. A lot of vets need help. But the VA doesn't seem to find the resources to help them. If I had taken that resource, as far as I'm concerned, I'm taking away from somebody that really, really needs it. And that's just who I am. I had good insurance. I had a great support system. I got through it. And to this day, I can't say that this cancer I got wasn't from that, but it branched off somewhere. Maybe yes, maybe no. But I did apply for it. We'll see where it goes. I went to New York here. VA. Any other questions? I'm just full of answers. Up here I have pictures of myself in Nam. That's a Vietnam era tank. Pictures of me before and during Vietnam. My teaching degree. I got an award from General Westmoreland. And that's the missile that I worked on. And you're all welcome up to run over it if you please.
You're not gonna shoot one off for us? You're not gonna shoot one off for us?
I liked it. I never really got to see it actually fire.
It's because they were broken when they called.
Yeah. It's right.
It's incredible, but No, we never needed a denom. Just needed to go over and repair them because the tubes, the heat, they don't work together very well. Okay?
Yeah.
I'd like to do more, but
Quick question. You said you went to boot camp in Georgia? You went to boot camp in Georgia?
no, Fort Dix, New Jersey.
Okay, I must have missed it.
Yeah,
Is that where you did your actual boot camp training?
I'm sorry.
Is that where you actually did your boot camp training?
Fort Dix, New Jersey, in the winter.
What was your rifle, the weapon that you qualified with then?
And 14.
Okay,
I love that weapon. When I was in the Nam, it changed over to the 16. But they were having so many issues with the 16. Little bit of dirt gets into the mechanism. Got a field strip it. M14, I had no issue with. A little bit heavier, but did the job. And quite frankly, they say the snipers loved 14. And I can understand why.
What was your experience coming home? What was your experience coming back to the States?
Yeah, okay. That was actually in my notes and I didn't read it. Came from the Nam, got into. Where'd I come into? Jersey. Plane landed, you sign yourself out, if anybody here, come back stateside. And I called my parents, come pick me up, couldn't do it. There was nobody there to say, welcome back. When I got home, it cost me $65 back in the 60s to get to my house. I hired a cab, one of those checker cabs. Luckily, I got to sit in the front. Those seats in the back aren't exactly appropriate. And I got up there, the bar was open, so I offered the driver, come on in, I'll buy you a big drink. Well, I got in there and a whole bunch of my friends were there. So they're supposed to close, I think at 3 in the morning. We didn't get out until 8 in the morning. They went up and got my parents. And this is in the middle of the night. They come down, said, your son's home. Come on down to the tavern, South Tavern. That was my welcome home.
Did you wear civilian clothes or your uniform?
I was in uniform. Yeah. I didn't even have time to change it civvies. I really didn't. But that's all right. I don't regret it. I kind of enjoyed my military service, and I'm kind of disappointed I didn't stay in because I did have a great MOS. It wasn't that I was out in the field every day. And it was a fun job. I enjoyed it. Just like the job I had in civilian life. They'd call me in 3 o'clock in the morning. The computer went down. I'll be there in 10 minutes to bring it all back up again. But again, if it wasn't for the military, none of that would have happened. I would have never met all my friends that I have. It's pretty much all I can say about it. And that concludes my little speech here, and you're welcome to come up and look at this. And Lynn, I gotta thank you guys so much for inviting me. I kind of read through this thing too fast, but hey, At least I didn't shy off on it. Okay,
It's good.
thank you so much.